Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Natalie and I'm the artist and owner behind NMC Design Studio, which is a small art business based out of Seattle, Washington. This is the final part in the website redesign saga, but we have finally finished and launched the website, and I believe last I left off was kind of like a half part where I was kind of going through photo shoot and shooting some new visuals for the new website. But prior to that, where we left off, I believe if I remember correctly, I was talking through kind of the way that we were planning on laying out everything on the web pages. So post that, there was some back and forth on my end. I saw somewhere on, I think on Instagram, saw someone mention how Shopify was really pushing AI and being able to sell in AI channels. So like your products from your Shopify store would show up in like ChatGPT, and that there wasn't a way to turn it off. And I went, ooh, because previously I was considering or was planning on using Shopify, right? So seeing that, I was like, ooh, not a fan. Don't like that. Not a fan of AI tools, and especially not a fan of not being able to turn those off. So then I looked into alternatives again in terms of website hosting platforms. And I looked at Big Cartel, Square, and potentially some other options that I don't remember currently. But the issues were none of them did what Shopify does as well as Shopify does it. And there's just a lot of customizability. That's not a word. There's a lot of customization options available in Shopify and like flexibility that it offers that none of these others really offered. And so I ended up going back to Shopify after exploring these different options and actually paying subscriptions for some of them to be able to test it out, and ultimately deciding that yeah, I'm gonna go with Shopify because it best fits what I need. One of those big things being that Shopify allows you to kind of customize how things are showing up, and I can't remember the word right now, but essentially use like tokens. And so you can say on this type of product page, for example, like the clothing product page, right? Clothing stuff, I'm gonna wanna be able to show sizing. And that sizing might be different for the different types of whatever clothing I'm offering. And if I have just a clothing product page and I want to show different sizing on that page based on what product it is, I can use a token that says like sizing or clothing sizing, and that is what is going to show up on the product page. And then in the product itself, I can define what the clothing sizing token actually is. So just things like that where it's more flexibility and like customization options, right? That other platforms didn't have. And what I did discover when going back to Shopify after exploring all these other platform options was that there was a spot to turn off your products or your shop showing up in AI channels. So turned that off. So unfortunately, I'm sure you're all so sad to hear about it, but you will not be able to find my products in ChatGPT chats or whatever. So super unfortunate for y'all. The next big thing was migrating over all of the products that were listed on my Wix site that now needed to be listed on my Shopify site. And the biggest issue with this was most things imported, not everything. I don't know what happened, but some products ended up getting like missed in the transfer over. So I had to create a couple products from scratch, which was fine. But the one big thing was when transferring all of the products over, all of them transferred over as like digital products. And I don't know if this was a setting I needed to turn on Shopify's side or what, but they all imported as non-physical products. So I had to go into every single product listing and do the toggle that it is a physical product and then enter in the like weight of the product and what type of shipping container they were supposed to go into. Packaging is the right word. Shipping packaging. So that was time consuming. And the other thing that I did to myself as part of this is I had updated some of my product descriptions into like a sort of template that worked better for SEO or search engine optimization. Basically, the descriptions had more keywords, the titles had more keywords of things that people might actually search for in search engines, and therefore my products might turn up because people are searching these keywords that are now present in the description and all that jazz. So I had updated the descriptions and product titles for some of my products, mostly the ones that I wholesale, so a lot of the times not my fandom based or fan art based ones. So I decided I would go through and update those product descriptions for all of my products that were going to be on my Shopify website. And that was also time consuming because have to go through at least half of my product catalog didn't have that. So I had to go through all of that and just took a lot of time to, write words. Are those words great? Did I get lazy at the end? Absolutely. But hopefully there's some better keywords in there. There's more words for sure. Hopefully some more details and information about the products as well. That is all updated. That was also part of the having to go into a lot of the different products is to update the titles and the descriptions of those. Along with that, like I mentioned, the tokens and conditional formatting and all that jazz, had to go in and set all of that up as well. So making sure that everything was connected and tagged correctly so that those products would be sorted into the correct collections is what Shopify calls them, but basically categories of products. And like we discussed previously, part of that was recategorizing everything, making it so that people could kind of click on those specific categories and shop just within that category. More like a traditional retail website, how those are all set up. So it meant making sure that everything that is categorized as stickers and stationery was in the stickers and stationery collection, and then making sure that there were the subcategories or sub-collections, if you want to call them that, of individual stickers, sticker sheets, washi tape, etc., etc., and making sure all of that was set up and connected correctly. So that also took quite a bit of time. But it was nice that we had predefined those categories in the kind of design stage and figured out what we wanted those to look like. So that's all kind of the back end product inventory management stuff. The fun things was actually designing the website. So Shopify's UI is it's okay to use. It's not terrible. And you can kind of just add sections, and then within those sections you can kind of mess around with things. There's some pre-built stuff or components, you could think of it as, that you can play with and add in kind of just wholesale, but you can also kind of group different more basic elements together. So think images, text, etc., things like that. And so I did kind of a combination of both of those depending on what I kind of wanted the thing to look like. And for the most part, we were kind of copying from my previous website for some of the pages that I didn't necessarily define in the design stage of what I wanted it to look like. But for things like the homepage, where we did actually do design phase and figured out what we wanted that to look like prior to implementation, that ended up being more so following what we did during the design phase with slight tweaks based on implementation requirements and all that jazz. Then it was kind of going through the rest of the website and the information architecture that we had set up and figuring out what those other pages ended up looking like. So I think I called out in the design video previously that one of the things that I decided I wanted to do, because I was looking at the components available on Shopify, was the kind of hotspot image type thing at the top of the collections, which I thought was going to be really fun. And I did end up doing that. It was just kind of a timing thing because I'm talking through this a little bit more sectioned off, but the product stuff, so getting all of the products settled and all that jazz, was actually one of the last things that I ended up doing. So I was implementing first and wouldn't have products to link to when I was setting up the hotspots for the images. So then at the end, I had to come back in and make sure that those were all linked up correctly. So I definitely could have planned this out a little bit better, but I was just very excited to kind of hop into implementing and like doing the darn thing, right? So I'll go through some of the like design and implementation decisions that I made, and we can look at the Figma design of the website homepage and then like what we actually ended up doing and kind of compare and contrast. Okay, so we can see the new live website here and what we had planned here. On the top up here, it looks a little bit different just because this is not full width across, which is why we have the more instead of about there, but you can see this is the about section, and you can imagine it would just be like there, like we have in our design with the logo and then some icons over on this side. We then have our hero images with some call to actions of shop now for each of the different sections. And we have a recommended for you section. The one thing that I was kind of struggling to figure out, and I could do a little bit more work to attempt to figure it out, is actually getting the rating to display on these items. So a little bit more effort to try and figure that out. And then we have the shop by theme. So this is one of the like UI design ways that kind of differs. And I did originally want this kind of grid. The issue was it wasn't showing up correctly when I was going through and doing this. So it would end up being way too close to the margin on the right side when I was doing like the 3 columns. And the like just the responsiveness was not functioning correctly, and it ended up being that like the page was too wide and it wasn't working. So pivoted, and we still get the same information but in a little bit different of a way, so we can see all of the different options here, and it means that actually we can include one extra as well up here. And then the next section was supposed to be social media and kind of links to my different social media. And I actually decided against doing this. It just felt a little bit boring almost and like not very useful. So instead I pivoted to showing the Ko-fi tiers. So you can see tip tier and digital tier and what you get for each, and has a call to action to head to Ko-fi. And then the final section that was planned was the what's new section. So it was kind of going back and forth in previous videos on if I should do a what's new section or if I should just do a hero image up here with what's new. And ultimately I decided to do a what's new section just because this feels easier to maintain, honestly, and I don't have to create new visuals for each shop update, which is nice. And then something that wasn't in the original designs but I added and was actually in the previous website is a gift card section. So it says looking for a gift card, and then you can, actually I'm not sure if this, oh yeah, it does work. It takes you to the gift card page. I wasn't sure if I had actually set that up. And then finally we have the footer. So we have the kind of call out of join the newsletter and what you get from it with the ability to enter your email address and sign up. And then we have all of our social links, email, and the navigation down here where you can see the places that you can shop, the pages that you can shop with the different categories, and the different about pages. So about, contact, FAQ, where to find us in wholesale, which is what you see up here as well. So then we can look at a collection page, which I also did a design for. Oh, and I forgot to call out earlier, we have the banner up here, which was a part of the design as well, and that does carry over through all of the pages. So in a specific collection page, we went and clicked on stickers and stationery, but you can also click on household goods or zines, and each of these sections has an image up at the top, and each of these images have these kind of like callouts of the different items that you might see in the photo. I personally really like this. I think it helps you see how these items might be used in context and all that jazz. So I think that's fun. And then scrolling down, we see again the product images and titles and prices. Again, I couldn't figure out how to get the ratings in here, so something that I want to work on. But then we have the filter options on the side, which is what I wanted, as well as the sort options up here. And you can see that I did get pretty much the like categories of searching that I wanted. So we have product theme. We also have product type. One thing that I didn't get in is the product category on the shop all section, which I think is okay because we still have the product type, which has all of the different types of products that it could be. So if you wanted stickers and stationery, you would just select all of the product types. We also have availability, so in stock or out of stock, which I think is nice to be able to filter to just in stock items. And we have the price filters or price range filter, which I also really like. And I originally had it as a slider, but I think entering in also works very well. One thing I will say about the filters is I pretty intentionally chose how they functioned. So product theme, if you select, let's say, LGBTQIA+, then selecting an additional one is going to only show you the things that both are true for. So these are all products that fall into both the LGBTQIA+ theme as well as the birds theme. So you can see we have Queer vinyl sticker, Duck Parade Pride Flag washi tape, the pronoun stickers, the pronoun pins, and the Pride Flag stickers. Whereas if we unselect birds, we still see all of those, but we also see alphabet soup, we see the multitudes block print, and trans is nature zine, and pronoun prints. And so I wanted to do that so you could kind of get more narrow on what exactly it is you're looking for. Like if you're looking for Pacific Northwest and transit themed things, right? You're gonna get all of the transit themed things, which to be fair are just the transit themed things. But if you wanted food, just generally, you can see all of the food. But let's say you wanted food that was specifically Pacific Northwest related, you can see we have the gluten-free in Seattle zine and Peachtober prints. This one is because of the overlap. And then differently, the product type is not just limited to and, it is or. It's an or statement, which maybe doesn't make sense, but I'll show you. So let's say we select crew necks. We can see we have one crew neck, which actually, where's my other one? We might need to go fix that. So we'll say we have one crew neck, right? That is very obviously not journals and notepads. So if we select journals and notepads, we now see the crew neck and all of the journals and notepads. So it is showing us products that are crew necks or journals and notepads. And then we get to see both of them. Whereas the product theme is showing us things that are LGBTQIA+ and birds. So we get to see things with an overlap. And then some final like miscellaneous things that we had to contend with and make sure that we shifted over. Our newsletter, our email newsletter, that was previously hosted through Wix. So migrated everyone's information, name, email over and put that into Shopify's like messaging application thing, and actually did end up sending out the first email for the newsletter using Shopify earlier in June, and I believe that went well. I had my fiance check it and was like, does everything look okay? Seems like it did, so no issues there. One new thing with that is they limit the number of components you can put into the email, so that'll be a fun thing for me to contend with. And it just feels like it's a little bit less flexible in terms of what you can do. For example, you can add in columns, so like two things side by side, right? But it is limited to a single image, a text box, and a button on that column. So I can't add in, to my understanding or what I experimented with, right? I can't add in two images on one column and then like just have text on the other side. I would need to do one column component and then another column component if I wanted two images on top of each other, which is really silly in my opinion. Like, just let me add in more images. What the heck? That's apparently how that functions. And so it's a little bit less flexible and a little bit more modular, if that's the right word. So it might take a little bit to kind of get more used to how that functions, but I think that newsletter came out pretty well. If you received the newsletter and it looked weird or funky, let me know. And then finally, had to also migrate over reviews, so product reviews. And that one was interesting just because Wix doesn't have the capability for you to export product reviews, which would have been an issue if I had way more. But I only had 3 product reviews in my Wix site. So it was a lot easier to kind of just like copy paste things rather than having like 100 product reviews to migrate over. That would have been absolutely terrible and an awful bad time, and maybe I just wouldn't have done it. Who knows? But I was able to migrate those over, which was very nice and good. And I think I said that that was the last thing, but the actual last thing was the domain. So my website domain, the website address that you type in the bar to actually go to my website, it was hosted through Wix. So Wix like owned the domain name, and I pay them a yearly fee so that I get to use that domain name and it's mine. I could have kept the domain name owned through Wix and just pointed it at my Shopify store. For some reason, my brain went, that's not an option. It definitely was an option, but for some reason I was like, I have to transfer my domain name over. So I initiated that way too late because my shop update was scheduled for the 21st. I believe it was like late on the 20th in the middle of the night. I was like, I gotta link up my domain name. We gotta transfer it over. And initiated that, and that can take like 5 days to fully go through. So for the shop release, we were rocking with the My Shopify domain because it hadn't been fully transferred over, so I couldn't actually link it to my shop, which was fine. It worked out, and we still got some traffic for the like update day. Again, don't generally get too many online orders, but I did get one, not necessarily from the shop update, but it was in my new store. But that was because I had met someone at a in-person market or event that I did, and they ended up wanting to purchase some more of the item that they got and ended up ordering more. But we can look at the Shopify analytics now. We're specifically going to look at down here, sessions by refer, right? So you can see like search Google Boardman. I'm pretty sure it's how they found it, the refer, and then the location. Why are there 90 sessions from Council Bluffs? I looked this up. It's a random city in Iowa. Why are there so many sessions from Council Bluffs? I do not understand. Also randomly 35 sessions from Boardman. And there's 23 that are direct in Seattle and 11 from Seattle that are unknown and 8 also from Seattle that are unknown. Oh, this one is because it's a bit.ly. It's people scanning my business card in person. I don't know what the unknown one here is and why my own site is the refer. It might be card, like my card link. I'm not sure. And then direct and none in search in Google. Anyways, I don't understand. And granted, because it's sessions, it's not necessarily unique users. So this could be one person just coming to my website quite a lot. That's always possible. But then why are you coming to my website so much? I'm very confused. It's very interesting. But yeah, you can see there's quite a few analytics, but I would kind of expect that from any sort of thing. I am interested to see like what this live view looks like. I haven't actually been able to catch anyone in the live view, but I know in Wix we could see like what page they were going through, and I really enjoyed being able to kind of see people's path through the website. I think that's really interesting and can kind of give you information into how people actually like navigate your website. As a person who doesn't do this, that might feel really weird and invasive, and I'm very sorry if it does feel like that. I can't see like your screen or what you're doing. I can just see like you can see it here, like sessions by landing page. I can essentially just see what page you're on like this. So I could see if you're on like the clothing dash accessories collection or the about page. I can't see like your mouse. I can't see what you're essentially seeing on my screen right now, if that assuages any fears. And then actually, finally, the things that I need to do next, right? So as of filming this, the domain actually still hasn't been linked up. I believe it was supposed to be finalized yesterday, so today I need to double check and see if it actually is finalized, and then I need to make sure that it is actually applied to my online store. The thing to do after that is I have a bunch of links out there in the wild, right? I have my card that links to my shop and is generally linked in all of my social media. And that has my online shop as well as like my newsletter sign up. So I'll need to check and make sure that those are both functioning and point to the right place. I also have Pinterest, and that has a bunch of product links in it. And I need to go through and make sure that at least most of those product links are linking to the correct thing, would be the goal there. So there's some like domain, website address, shuffling and checking and all that jazz that needs to happen before I can like fully call the website redesign done. But it is up, it is launched. Y'all can check it out. I'll put the link down in the description. But it's very exciting. I'm happy to have my new website up and running, and hopefully it functions well and kind of meets some of those user needs or wants. Oh, last thing. I keep saying last thing. Maybe this is the actual last thing. One of the things that I identified in the user research way back when, right, was people love like free shipping and having a thing to work towards, essentially. So on my website, you can now get free shipping on orders of $70 or more. I think I need to implement something that kind of lets you track your progress towards that, probably like a Shopify app or whatever. But that is a thing now. You can get free shipping on orders of $70 or more, which is exciting for y'all. But yeah, excited to see how this kind of meets user needs and how it maybe differs from my prior website design, see if there's any improvements and things like that. I'm also just happy to be off of Wix at this point. Hopefully Shopify doesn't be terrible. Please don't. I don't want to move my website again. That sounds awful. But that's about it for this video. Thank you all for watching and coming along with me to redesign my entire website. I hope you found this video fun and informative. If you did, consider subscribing. I post videos every Monday about my artwork and what it's like running a small art business. I also want to say thank you to my Ko-fi subscribers for their support. If you're interested in supporting me further, you can subscribe to me on Ko-fi for $1 or $3 a month. You'll get various rewards like your name in this video, as well as monthly digital backgrounds for mobile and desktop, and monthly progress sketchbooks with behind the scenes and sneak peeks of new products. Thank you again for watching, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye!